Still good? Yeah. Sorry, we're a couple of minutes late. We had a couple of technical difficulties that we had to iron out. I'm Ruben Dominguez. This is Katie Stone. This is Foodies and Friends. Katie, we have a very special guest.
We do. We have a very sweet guest today, Ruben. I've been talking about this guest for a little while. His name is Johnny Wesley. You all might recognize his name. He's been around Houston for a long time. He's been a chef here in Houston, and now he's got his own business called HTX Nitro Creamery. It is ice cream, you guys. Let's go, baby.
Right.
We have our chef on our chef cam today. He's got some pretty amazing creations. It's not just ice cream, Ruben.
It's not.
It's not just ice cream.
It's just more than that. There he is. Look at him.
Prepared.
There he is.
Blown away, you guys.
There he is. And we've got him mic'd up, so you guys should be able to hear us. So what we're going to do, I guess we should just have him kind of kick it off, right?
Yeah, he's got, I want to say 5 or 6 different flavors, and if we can maybe split screen our shot. So we're going to talk to Chef as he's beginning to create his yummy creations. And, you know, it's I love that, you know, and also I should mention where we are, right?
Yes.
We're at William Price Distillery. So Johnny kind of hops around to different hosts. He's got there's a distillery in Katy that he gets to sometime. And then this place here in the Garden Oaks area is where he's, I think, once a week. And he kind of, you know, you can come in and check out his ice cream creations.
And we're right off of Wakefield. If you guys are in the Garden Oaks area, you know where this is. Crowbar's down here. All the cool little spots are down here. So, yeah. Oh, we've got some nitro happening.
Just you wait. That's what I was saying. So I met Johnny just a few weeks ago at the Wine and Food Festival in the Woodlands.
Okay.
And it was honoring my mother, Cleverly Stone, and inducted her into their Hall of Fame. Johnny was one of the chefs, the tables at the event.
Very
and
cool.
So this is where, you know, everybody was kind of tasting wines and tasting food. And this is what I see, right? Like nobody else had anything like this.
Right.
So
you want to get right over there and find out what's up. Johnny, tell us about the process.
So, like you guys said, we're HTX Nitro Creamery. And the reason we call ourselves that is because we specialize in liquid nitrogen ice cream and other frozen products. This right here is our Rob Van Winkle, which is basically what we call our vanilla ice cream. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge nerd, number one, but I'm also a huge fan of pop culture. So a lot of our flavors are actually named after pop culture icons, so to speak. So, of course, when I was trying to name my vanilla ice, Rob Van Winkle was the number one name that I came up with. So, but yeah, so what we're doing here is we basically have our mixers and we throw in our ice cream base. This is our vanilla base, and then we freeze it with straight liquid nitrogen. The cool thing about that is it doesn't add any volume. It doesn't add any flavor. All the smoke you're seeing is the liquid nitrogen turning it back into its original gas form. Now, I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but I poured straight liquid base. This is just our ice cream base into this machine. And in less than a minute, we have fully frozen ice cream. So what I'm making here is one of our ice cream sandwiches. As you guys mentioned earlier, it's not just ice cream. We also do baked goods, cookies, brownies, stuff like that. But originally, we were just doing the cookies to go with our ice cream sandwiches, but those ended up selling more than our actual ice cream. So, of course, we started adding more to the mix. We had chocolate chip, funfetti, snickerdoodle, and then we started doing what's called Pop-Tart cookies. So we actually fill some of our cookies with different fruit fillings, caramel fillings, and as you can see, This is just straight ice cream now at this point. So,
Johnny, talk about your. I know you talk about how you are inspired by pop culture for your names and such, but I'm really interested in the ingredients always. Talk about your view as far as how you choose your ingredients and where you.
Oh, here it comes. We're getting a very special
Here we
delivery.
go. Okay.
You're okay. You're all right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
Whoa. Witness the enormity.
the cool thing about what we do,
Drip on my computer.
Liquid nitrogen ice cream.
Yeah.
Because the traditional ice cream process takes about 30 to 40 minutes to freeze.
Right.
And what you're doing is, as you're freezing it, it's growing ice crystals in the mix.
Okay.
So liquid nitrogen takes that entire process down.
Super creamy.
Yes. That's where we get it from. That's why we do it, because
that is luxurious.
It takes that process down to about less than a minute, as you just saw a few minutes ago.
I just got a nice big chunk of
But
chocolate.
what that does is it inhibits the growth of ice crystals altogether, so it gives you a smoother product.
All right, I don't want.
We don't need any stabilizers. We don't need any.
This is the kind of ice cream I want.
Oh my God!
Did you get cookie?
Stop.
You just got all you got was ice cream.
I don't need cookie,
Okay.
Ruben.
Yeah,
Johnny.
so
Whoa.
Process, it just makes it very unique. So really, all we have in our ice cream, for the most part, is milk, heavy cream, sugar, and eggs.
Heavy cream, sugar, and eggs. That's all that's in this.
It's all natural products, and then, of course, depending on the flavor, there's chocolate or fruits or whatever else there might be. This next flavor we're going to try to show you the process of how we do our milkshakes. What I tell everybody, it's kind of like a reverse milkshake. Traditionally, you take frozen ice cream, you put it in a blender, you blend it up with milk or heavy cream or half and half or whatever it might be.
Got our chef doing some fun stuff right now.
So once again, we put our ice cream base into the mixer, and we add just a little bit of heavy cream to it. And so what we do is, instead of blending it and kind of melting it into a milkshake consistency, we slightly freeze it to where it's the proper consistency. And we'll kind of show you what we're going to do a little bit differently. The cool thing about our process is that we're highly customizable. So we had vanilla ice cream in here to start with, and now we're actually going to change it into our Oreo Speedwagon. So when I created this flavor, the number one flavor that everyone always asks for is cookies and cream. Now me, I'm not a fan of tradition. I'm not a fan of, I didn't want to sell out, but when I made it one day on a whim, it was my highest selling ice cream flavor. So of course I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll make it, but I'm going to name it something cool. So I landed on Oreo Speedwagon. And so what we're doing here is absolutely. I'm not much of a planner. I just kind of do things as they happen. And then we're taking just fresh Oreos right here, and we'll add them directly into the mix. The cool thing about it is the paddle in the mixer actually crushes them up really perfectly. So that way you have a nice big chunks, but they're not too big to where you can't actually consume them properly. And see, I do have this problem a lot. Sometimes I won't add enough nitrogen. Sometimes I add a little too much. But once again, we're highly customizable. So if it's too thick, I can actually thin it out just a little bit to where it's the proper consistency. The way I kind of describe it to people, it's almost like being a bartender. And that was one of the perks of why I wanted to do this. Number one, I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge pop culture fan. And I also wanted to do something cool that not a lot of people have seen before. So our whole concept is actually built around the genre of steampunk, because we have the steam coming out of the liquid nitrogen tank. We have all kinds of stuff that smokes and does cool things. We thought naturally that was the way to go.
All right, I gotta see what is going on over here.
And so as you can see here,
Yep.
now we have a milkshake.
I see.
From the same exact mix that we used earlier.
I was wondering how long it was going to take to get Katie out of her seat.
Well, because, this is, I have a sweet tooth, Ruben.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
The one that's,
Yes, you do.
Johnny, talk to us a little bit about your journey in the hospitality industry. What brought you here to be the owner and proprietor of HTX Nitro Creamery?
So I've been in the industry here in Houston for a long time, probably about 20 years now. I've worked with some of the best chefs in Houston, and I've had the pleasure of doing just a lot of cool things in my career. But the one thing that I've always done, I've always been a pastry enthusiast, number one, but every restaurant I've ever worked in, I've always done ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And about 10 years into it, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm pretty good at this. And then about 7 years ago, and there's your milkshake.
Let's go.
About
Stay right there and sample it. I'll
Fine with me, Ruben. Fine with me.
About 7 years ago, I was introduced to liquid nitrogen. Now, a lot of people, when they hear that I do liquid nitrogen, they're like, oh, well, you know, we went to that place down the street and it was good, but it was more of a gimmick. And so that kind of puts people in a different mindset. But what I actually did was hone the craft first. But the reason I use liquid nitrogen is because I think it makes a superior product. And yes, it is for show.
It does. No,
Yeah.
It's incredible. This is Ruben. This is some of the best. Just anything I've ever tasted in my life.
You girl. I'm just enjoying. I
mean,
like watching you guys.
It's just too good. It's incredible. So continue with your.
I appreciate that,
your
but yeah, so probably about 5 years ago, I decided I wanted to start my own company. So I was kind of doing this gig on the side, catering, private events, pop-ups, stuff like that. And it was just a lot of fun. So January 2020, I decided, whoops, I forgot to put my paddle in there. I decided I was going to leave everything that I was doing in the restaurant industry and go 100% into my business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, the timing was really off because the world shut down and I was kind of stuck, you know, in a really tough spot.
Sure.
But fortunately, you know, we had family staying with us. So almost all of 2020, I basically was just at home, almost unemployed. I don't want to say unemployed because I was doing small things here and there where I could.
You were practicing for what would become this today.
But it kind of gave me the time to watch yourself. I don't want to burn you. To kind of revamp the concept because we used to be totally different. There was a lot of graffiti, a really big urban feel for everything that we did. But I was like, it's just not me. It's not what I want to do. It's not where I want to be. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I have a thing for dinosaurs. I like doing weird stuff. And so I ended up buying an old school bus. And I was like, you know what? This will be a really, really cool ice cream truck.
He has a school bus, Ruben.
And so we're actually converting it. I say we, but really it's me. I decided.
So it's in the process.
It's in the process.
Oh my goodness.
I decided I wanted to try to build it myself. I was like, it can't be that hard. Famous last words, of course. And so it was just like, okay, I had it all figured out. I had it all mapped out. And then once we started doing it, I would fix one thing, the next thing would go wrong, and so on. It would just go down the line. But then we started getting support. We, beginning of 2021, I started going out and doing farmers markets, more pop-ups, and kind of getting our name out there. And we kind of grew exponentially. And then we started making friends, such as William Price, who were really supportive of what we did. We ended up launching a Kickstarter campaign the middle of last year. And the amount of support that we got from everybody was just amazing.
I think it's important to note here for folks of you guys who are watching at home that you've always wanted to like make grandma's recipe or do that one thing. You get out there and kind of because you're all about that DIY, man.
Oh yeah,
like
if you check us out on Instagram at HTX Nitro Creamery, everything that we have, everything that we do,
right?
I built it all myself. Our popsicle carts. I have 3 different carts. Everything that we're doing, it's all me. I put my hands into it and I get it done.
Well, let me ask you this: what's this new flavor? I can't see from here. What's the next item? You can see it. All right. Well, I just want to know what's.
So this is what we call our chocolate. Now I know it sounds like chocolate, like Spanish for chocolate. But I call it that because number one, it's chocolate. It's Mexican chocolate mixed with coffee. And so
I like it a latte.
Yeah. And so we have chocolate. We have that same feel of almost café de olla. So you have that cinnamon, you have that chocolate, you have all that other good stuff. And so what we're making out of this is
I'm so tempted to take this and start licking it.
Actually, you wouldn't be the first, to be honest with you. But this is one of our favorite things to make. These are our chocolate tacos.
Did you ever like the chocolate tacos back in the day?
Sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember. My uncle was big on that. I just got a flashback.
So that's kind of what we were doing. We used to we set up at a spot out in Katy, No Label Brewery, and we used to come out every Tuesday. And yeah, it's what they're one of my biggest supporters as well. And we used to come out every Tuesday, and of course they would have a taco set up there, and we were like, man, everybody's coming out for Taco Tuesday. Like, I wish we could participate in Taco Tuesday. How can we make that happen?
My kind of Taco Tuesday.
And then I was like, well, we can.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I was like, we can add.
I'm coming over for a picture.
Right. We can do ice cream tacos. And then it turns out ice cream taco shells are a lot easier to make than actual ice cream cones.
It's really cool. It's like a waffle cone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Left me alone.
It's a waffle cone that is in the shape of a taco.
Look at it. Look at it. What kind of
This is insane.
mad witchcraft
I love this. I love this.
Well, Katie, I'm waiting. Get in there.
Yo.
Get in there.
Just wait for me
Snap,
to get in there.
crackle.
Which end should I go in? Okay.
There's no
wrong way to do it.
no wrong way. Oh, look at that. Look at her. Look at her.
It's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah?
Unbelievable. I can't even believe it. So good.
The delicious. Oh, chef, I would have handed you that.
So good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good. Of course. Yeah. Just get right in there. Just get right in there. Just get right.
I mean,
don't be afraid.
It's,
The best tools
cinnamon,
in the kitchen.
Chocolate.
Best tools in the kitchen.
So how?
So you're telling me we have a winner? I'm going in on the other side here.
Going on the other side. So Johnny, I'm just fascinated, and I love we actually met earlier this year. So
yes,
Johnny was one of the, I know, isn't it like crazy? Johnny was one of the participants this year in Eat Drink HTX, which, if you guys remember, we began live coverage on Fox 26 for that mid-February. The event runs every year, February 15th through the 28th. It's very similar to Houston Restaurant Weeks, but it is for lower price point restaurants, and it's 2 courses instead of 3.
2 weeks.
2 weeks long instead of 6. And it's geared more towards the casual dining restaurants, food trucks, coffee shops. So we had a wide variety, 92 restaurants for the very first year.
And wait till you see what happens this February.
This is how we met Johnny. So he was a participant, and it was so cool because, with the different event that helped, a completely different pool of restaurants that, we were able to welcome in guys like Johnny,
smaller operators,
sole proprietors, guy who just, very classically trained, has a ton of experience at fine dining restaurants in Houston. Now he's on his own, and we got a chance to meet him, and now we get a chance to share with you all what he's all about.
Well, and absolutely, and it was a great event, and I can't wait for the next one. So, Johnny,
yes, sir.
Some of that rum is going in there. Once again, let the folks know, because that's another, and that's right here. That is made in the next room.
Yes, it actually it's a new rum that William Price is coming out with. This is the Rum Rider.
It's not even available yet.
Nope. We're actually going to be out here.
Breaking news on Foodies and Friends.
We're going to be out here July 2nd for the launch party for this particular
love it
flavor, and we're going to be out here, giving out ice cream samples and just
July 2nd,
having a good time with everybody.
Yeah. So what's this next one called?
So this is, I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you. It's just ice cream with a little bit of rum in it. Another cool thing, and I wanted to show you guys this about the liquid nitrogen. It's so cold that I can actually freeze alcohol itself.
Ooh.
and it gives it a very cool consistency because it freezes it, but it also doesn't make it rock hard, so you can actually eat alcohol now.
So frozen rum.
Yes, basically.
And not like a daiquiri, nothing crazy like that.
No. This is just ice cream with a little bit of rum in it, and this is for the adult crowd, of course.
Sure. This one's not for the kiddos.
Yeah, not for the kiddos at all. But yeah, we can. This opens us up to a variety of different things that we can do. Like we said earlier, it's not just ice cream.
So, and I know you. So we just said this is for the adults. It's not for the kids. I would love to see a bunch of little kids just watching you make that. I mean, the eyeballs have to be just like
such a great idea,
right?
Too. I mean, do you do? Are you available for people to book you for private?
Yes, actually, before 2020, that was 100% of our business.
Wow.
Catering,
Wow.
parties, weddings, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after the pandemic hit, we kind of had to change gears a little bit. But now now that the world's opened back up a little bit, we're able to kind of rebook weddings and parties and all kinds of good stuff.
So I've got a quick question
because you're a small business, sole proprietor, like Katie said, and Katie, you and I have been talking about this.
Yeah.
So many restaurants just getting hit hard right now. You've got gas at astronomical prices. You've got food at supply. Johnny, how's all that? How's that affect on what you do?
So the good thing is I do desserts. Everything is fairly inexpensive.
And pretty common too,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm in the expensive part of the desserts as well because I have dairy. So I have to find new dairy suppliers, and I have to constantly shop around because I was getting my heavy cream for, maybe $2.45 a quart, maybe at the beginning of this year, and now it's at $3.89 a quart. And even the other day, I had to go pick some up. The price tag was still $3.89. By the time I made it to the register, it was $4.25, and so it was just. It's just.
Katie just launched out of this
So
ballistic missile.
Tell me what this is.
So this is basically our vanilla ice cream base with some of this rum rider in it, and so it's just going to be a little bit of boozy vanilla ice cream.
A boozy ice cream sundae. Here we go. I know you have some really interesting lollipops. We should probably do those next. We've got about 5 minutes.
We do.
All right, so I got an idea.
Are you ready to get? Do you want to? You can walk home from here.
To quote Lady Gaga, I was born this way.
You ready to get some?
Brother, you are a genius. You are a mad scientist.
All right, I've never seen him.
Where do you live? I just need to know where you are at all times in case I need some of this stuff.
Wait a minute.
This is fantastic.
If you follow us on Instagram, you can get anything you want from us on Instagram.
Oh my
What
gosh.
is happening? What is happening right now?
But this is the whole reason I wanted to open my own truck is because I'm not a person that likes to sit still very often.
I've had like rum or some sort of like alcohol infused frozen concoction before,
Mm-hmm.
This
blows it all
takes
out of the water.
the ice cream cake.
Yeah.
It's like I tell everybody, I don't want to say that we're better, but
No.
Just taste this. You're like, hold my cone.
Yeah. Ruben's
I've spent a lot of time honing these recipes and practicing this craft and putting it all together, and it's finally basically a culmination of everything. Because originally the idea was to build the ice cream truck.
Right.
And then when I started looking at brick and mortars, the amount of money you have to open one these days, I was like, I can build a whole fleet of trucks. But then I was kind of bummed because I was like, I was trained in restaurants.
Right.
So I'm a fine dining chef.
Right.
I do plated desserts. I do all this other stuff. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, why can't I do it on the truck?
Right.
I've worked in kitchens where I've had half the space that I do on the truck. So why can't I start doing that? So that's actually the direction we're going in. So we're going from ice cream truck to a full-on mobile dessert bar. Now, this last little piece, these are what we call our Dragon Pops.
Okay.
All right.
So,
wait, Ruben goes first.
I'm gonna.
Ruben goes first.
All right.
Yeah.
Scooch a little bit for me, so
Ruben
we're on
goes
this side. Okay.
first.
all right. So these are essentially meringues that have been dehydrated and freeze-dried in liquid nitrogen.
Look at this. Look. Come on, man.
I know. This is
There you're playing with
wild.
us.
This is wild. Okay.
All
It's
right, get in
wild.
You might want to throw that under.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Ready? That's so good.
And see, the cool
What
thing
am I
about
tasting?
it's a simple meringue, just
Okay.
egg whites and sugar. But the cool thing about these is we can customize them to shape, flavor, color, anything your mind can come up with. We can pretty much make it,
Oh,
and it's
This is a
That's
party.
amazing,
This
I
is
know.
just killing it.
So good.
and we
Wow.
we normally do what's called dragon kisses, which is what Katie had the other day, and they're basically little kiss shaped meringues. But we wanted to figure out a way to actually sell them at our pop-ups and everything. And so I was like, okay, a lollipop, somebody can come up, I can dip it in liquid nitrogen, hand it off, they can take off with
and
it.
this is brilliant. And like you literally just came up with that like last weekend because I saw him a couple weeks ago,
Right.
and then he's like, I've got a new product that I want to
You're
show,
killing
and,
it.
and I'm like,
Mhm.
this is amazing. This is perfect.
I wake
love
up.
that.
I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what can I do that's gonna be
So
interesting?
that creative process is always working.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wait a minute.
I'll-
Man, this is I'm blown away.
Wow.
So impressed.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Impressed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this because we only got a couple of minutes left.
All right.
So folks, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Yeah.
So the best way is through our Instagram. At
Okay.
our Instagram tag is at HTX Nitro Creamery. You can find us on Instagram. We do a little bit of work on Facebook, but we're predominantly
I see
on.
you do some giveaways on
Yes,
Instagram
we
too.
do. We do giveaways. We do raffles. We do all kinds of good stuff. In the past year, we went from 200 followers, and now we just hit our 2,000 follower mark. So
I love
it was a good mark for us. And now we're just kind of going forward and coming up with new products, new ways to kind of, excite people. Because right now we're working on making popsicles to order. The same way
Yeah.
we do our ice creams, we have the molds. I don't know if you've ever had a dreamsicle, but you know
Yes.
how you have the fruit flavor
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
outside and the
Mhm.
ice cream in the middle. We've developed a way to do that to order.
Oh,
We
my goodness.
we
That's
just
gonna be
have-
the bomb.
we just
That's
have a
gonna
bunch
be
of
really
cool
good.
stuff going on, and we're just kind of growing as we go.
Well, let me ask you this, and I know we got to wrap it up. Our producer's probably screaming at the screen right now. So tell everybody, next spot, what's coming up here, because there's people watching this that are going to want to find
Yeah,
you
how do
this
they
week
find
or
you?
this weekend or whatever.
This week we'll probably be out at No Label the next day or so.
Katie.
We have a gig out at Paradigm Brewery up in Tomball.
Mhm.
Yes, Tomball. It's going to be my first time there. We're going to be there this Sunday. We kind of hit up different markets. Sterling's Market over at St. Martin's Episcopal every Saturday morning.
Check the IG.
Yes, the IG
Check
is
the Instagram.
IG is the best place to find us where
Okay.
we're at. Because hey guys, this is what we're going to be.
I love it. All right, well, listen. First of all, I want to thank you for taking the time out and setting up today special for us. I think that was one of our coolest segments we've done. We had nitro, we had rum, we had tacos, we had ice cream sandwiches. Brother, kill it all the time. Best of luck, much continued success. I hope we're going live from the school bus sometime when that hits the road, because that's going to be a blast. Katie, you ready to wrap it up? All right, guys, next Wednesday, 3 o'clock, more Foodies and Friends. Follow this guy, show him some love, support your local businesses. I think that's it all.
Adios.
See you later, guys. Bye.